Hey, Billy, we were talking to Coach about getting healthy during the open week. Just what would it mean potentially to have KP and Ty back in the offense going into Friday night?
Yeah, I mean, it would obviously mean a lot. Obviously, I have a very good connection with both those guys. A lot of experience, a lot of banked reps throughout the season, and the past year or two here. I think regardless of their circumstance, I think the offense knows we got the next man up mentality. And some of those younger guys that obviously saw some time at the end of the Indiana game have made those strides, and it was good for them to get thrown in the fire to get that game experience. But obviously, I would like to have 10-1 in there with me. But regardless of who's out there with me, I got all the confidence in them. I think the offensive staff has the same confidence in them, and now it's about getting some of those younger guys to have the same confidence that we have them in themselves, so that they can go out there and they feel like they're playing fast, playing free. When I see that, then obviously it makes me feel a lot more comfortable, and just makes me feel even easier to get them the ball and let them know that they're going to go make a play. Obviously, we have our skill players here are second to none. It makes my job a lot easier. So it would be nice to have them, but I think regardless of whether it's receiver room, tight end room, running back room, whoever's out there with me, I think they we have as an offense as a whole and a coaching staff, they have the confidence in them to go out there and know that they'll produce.
And for you in the open week, was it all football? Did you take some time off? Kind of how did you handle it?
Yeah, I had I guess you could say it was all football. It was all football for me. I was able to do some work, out of town a little bit on some football stuff, just get my mind away from College Park, still watching a lot of tape, going out on the field and trying to get back just to some of the mechanics, and then got back in town Friday night, and then all Saturday was pretty much watching football. So I guess you could say it was all football, but it was definitely, got a few days, got to get the mind away, from here and try to just get back to neutral, reset, and get after, for the middle third of the season.
Billy, everybody in this room and the coach said too that very happy with your performance so far. As Billy Edwards, what do you feel that you can work on to do more after the start of the season? Where do you feel maybe some of your shortcomings have been, but what do you feel you can improve on?
Yeah, I would say just the overall message for me would just be chasing consistency. Obviously, right, like I've shown some good things. There's obviously things I can improve on. The biggest thing for me is consistency just in the pass game, right? Obviously, as we get deeper into the season, I have a lot of, vertical threats downfield, whether it's the tight ends, Ty, KP, people that I can push the ball downfield to. And I think just the mindset for me, obviously, regardless of how I've played up until this point, the mindset for me is, when we get into these Big Ten games and we get later in the season, we're going to have, as Coach Locke says, with our special teams mentality, we're going to have a one-shot, one-kill when we get a chance to throw a deep ball to Ty or KP. Obviously, with, the more games we play, teams are scouting us. Not many people want number 10 and number 1 to get over top of their heads. But when we're given the opportunity to, I think, I'm putting more pressure on myself and trying to get more consistent with myself, with them, as far as hitting those, just knowing that we're not going to get very many of those. So I'd say just the consistency overall in my game, but definitely, when we get a chance to throw the ball downfield past 20, 30 yards, it's my job to capitalize and hit it and put it in a spot to where they can make a play.
Hey, Billy. I know Northwestern obviously coming to town. I know statistically, I think they're kind of in the middle of the pack sack-wise, but they do a good job just kind of pressuring then front seven.
Yeah.
Is there anything that they kind of do that kind of sticks out to you?
I would just say they're schematically they're very sound on what they do. They know, similar with some of the Big Ten West teams, they know what they're good at. They know their strengths and they play to it. And they're taught very well and coached very well to know kind of what hurts them. And they obviously do a very good job of staying out of those positions and those situations defensively. Up front, they're very they have a lot of experience in the front seven, even in the back end too. A lot of guys that play the run well. They're stout. They play long arm, play physical in the run game, control their gaps. So I think nothing stands out besides the fact that what they do very well. And I think from our mindset of it, it's just about execution, because we know schematically they're very sound on what they do. They're going to have looks that we'll be prepared for and whatnot, but it's just going to it's about going out there and executing, right? We know that they're going to play heavy-handed and try to do what they do, and we have to out execute them. And
just kind of follow up, I know obviously you were asked, you've kind of been playing really good football, and what's kind of that area of growth, but Loxley, he talked about when he was watching football this weekend, hearing the names of a lot of good quarterbacks, and he stuck up for you and said, you should be in that group that a lot of the national analysts kind of talked about. For you personally, I guess you feel like it kind of puts a little chip on your shoulder when, you feel like maybe you're not getting that respect?
Yeah, I would say, to be honest, I wouldn't say I have too much of a chip on my shoulder about what's going on right now. I feel like just the way, my college career's panned out, the way I've been recruited out of high school, just the way, I've been developed over the last 6-7 years. I've always tried to have a chip on my shoulder. I'd say right now, I'm more focused on the daily tasks, the week-to-week things. I've taken it one game at a time, and then after the season, I'll be able to get back on Twitter and to be active on all that stuff and read that stuff. But for right now, I'm just trying to make sure, be where my feet are, be as present as possible, so that when the season's over, I can know that I did everything possible in my capability to make sure that I went out there and put my best foot forward, put my best product out there Saturday. So it's definitely the praise and the attention that we get as an offense, myself, however you look at it, is nice. But I think there's bigger things that myself and everyone in that locker room is focused on. So that's right now for me specifically, just trying to keep the main thing, and just make sure I take care of my stuff Monday through Thursday in this case, so that Friday and Saturdays I give myself the best chance to go out there and succeed.
Billy, Friday night football under the lights, different emotions. What do you got to guard against, and what's it like playing on Friday night as opposed to the usual getting up, playing at noon, and going home?
Yeah, I'd say night games are definitely a little bit different. The way we've done things, with our schedule this week. I was in there with Coach Locks last night watching film until probably like 11:30, and I couldn't even tell you what day it was, because we're having our, Tuesday today. We're having our Wednesday practice. Like my mind is conditioned on what our practice schedule is. So today's a Wednesday practice, and then tomorrow will be a Thursday, and it'll be the same routine. So it's not much different for a Friday. Just they did a good job setting us up that way to help our bodies stay on our our normal schedule. With the night game, obviously, right, we're going to be sitting around all day. But I think those night games give us extra opportunities to meet all throughout the day, in the morning, in the afternoon, to have those position meetings, to watch some last minute tape, to feel like the hay's not in the barn, as they say. We can get some last minute preparations in before a night game. In terms of it being, Friday night, I got, it happens to be my high school team's bye week, so I got a lot of, old teammates, coaches, training staff, people coming up, which I'm excited about. But I think it'll be a great opportunity for us, on Friday night, at home in the Shell, on a national televised game, to go out there and show what we're about.
And what's it like going into the bye week, coming off a loss like you guys did? What's the toughest thing about moving on when you've got, as Coach said, 2 weeks to sit in?
Yeah, it's definitely tough. I think, the one thing that I probably do too good of a job of, whether we win or lose, is always having the 24-hour rule, knowing that, there's things to take away from a game, good or bad, win or loss, regardless of the outcome, that there's always things that we can improve on. And I think we had definitely a productive bye week in terms of the practices, addressing the mistakes that we made in the Indiana game across, all three phases of the ball, but also throughout the season, things that we wanted to address. And then also making sure last week's practices were able to be productive. We're able to get some guys healthy, get better overall as a team on all three phases. Then obviously now, right, we're in a normal game week out of the bye week. So it's hard, obviously, going into a bye week, having 2 weeks to sit on a loss. But I think that just, it pushes us even more, right, to want to go back out there and correct the things we've had mistakes on up until this point, and then also know that, we have to wait 2 weeks to get another opportunity to go out and get this taste out of our mouth. So I feel like we were productive with the bye. We've had a good week of practice so far. We got to have another good one today, and then just keep stacking the little things, so that we'll put ourselves in the best situation Friday to go out there and have success.
Billy, Mike has always said that you've been a diplomat. You're able to cross the aisle both on offense and defense. In your conversations with the guys on defense, have you got a sense from them? Are they sort of frustrated with how things have gone on their end through the first 5 games?
No, I wouldn't say anything specific. I think overall, I just think a lot of the guys on the team, we all have a very similar mindset, very similar, reactions of how, or feelings of how the season's gone so far. And on the flip side of that, I think we all have the right mentality and the right mindset, knowing that there's, we have so much more we can give and we can show. So it's just, we all have that kind of blue collar mentality, as Coach Locks would say, where we just got to go back up. We got to pick up the lunch pail and go back to work and keep chipping away, whether it's on offense, defense, or special teams. Obviously, me not playing defense, but talking to those defensive guys, right? My roommate's Dante Trader. There's obviously things that, we talk about, right? Where we tell ourselves, I'm the quarterback of the offense, he's the quarterback of the defense. We share a lot of perspectives and with, both sides of the ball. So we always talk about, how can we be better as leaders, knowing that a lot of the stuff on our side of the ball starts with us and trickles down to the rest of the team. So I feel like, there's definitely been, some shared emotions with how the season's gone this far, but I think we all have the right mentality of knowing that, we hit our bye week. We had 3-4 good practices last week to address those mistakes, and now we're going into our middle third of the season where, this is the most crucial part, because it's the next one. And we, I think we have a good mentality going into it to just take it one game at a time and correct those mistakes, address them like we did in the bye week. And now we got to go out and show it, on Fridays, Saturdays, and games that we've corrected them and we can continue to do them the right way in games.
The team is 0-2 in the Big Ten, but you've enjoyed some really good personal success. Is it difficult balancing the two, team success versus personal success?
No, I would say definitely when you guys look at how my role was here in the past 2 years, I don't really care what I do as long as we win, right? It's definitely not hard, but just knowing that I got to continue to do what I can do and control my grid, own my grid, as Coach Locks would say, and knowing that I don't have to do anything magical, continuing to play the position of quarterback. I just have to continue to do a good job and do a better job of just getting the ball out to the guys in space, making sure, whether it's check plays, making sure we get ourselves in the right situation, the right plays against the defensive structure, and then also know that I got 10 very much more talented players on my side of the ball with me on the field at any given time, and my job's easy when I'm surrounded by those guys. So just know that I got to keep the same mentality that I've had all year and continue to improve. Like I said, on the deep shots, being more consistent with those, and just consistent throughout the pass game, run game, making my checks and making sure that I put ourselves in the best situation so that we can have success. So it's not tough. I want to win games. I could have one passing touchdown this year and we could be 5-0, and I would not care. I would be all for it. So that's just whatever I got to do to help the team win. I think that's been my my mindset ever since I got to college, for sure, but definitely the last 2 years here playing in the role I did. So I'm just whatever role I can create, I'll embrace, and whatever I have to do to help the team win, to put ourselves in the best situation, then I'll do it.
Hey, Billy, what was your main focus individually, as well as the team as a whole during the bye week?
Yeah, I would say for me individually, just the consistency. Looking through the first 5 games, there were times where I think I didn't trust my feet. My base got a little bit wide, which caused me to miss on some throws or not make it as accurate as I could to give KP a run ball where he can catch and run and make people miss after the catch. And then just overall as a team, just addressing the things that we can control. Right, when we talk in a team meeting, the three areas where we can control that we can't control. If we can manage and win, then we will put ourselves in a very, very good spot to win the game in the turnover battle, the explosive play battle, and the penalties. And I think we, as a team, on all three phases of the ball, we address those, and we've put a big emphasis on them the last 2 weeks. To know that if we can take care of those 3 things, then we put ourselves in a very, very good spot at the end of the game to have a chance to win or win the game outright. So I think that's just that was the overall message of the team, was just to control what we can control and just go back to the basics of just blocking, tackling, throwing, catching the right way, knowing the scheme, and not forcing any things when it comes to explosive plays, and just playing with discipline.
You said you took some time away from College Park. Can you just kind of go into more detail about what you did during the bye week?
Yeah, I was able to get out of here. I went down to Texas for a few days. Was able to work out a little bit. Obviously, it was, I think right when I left College Park, it started to get sunny here. I felt like it rained for like 2 weeks straight here, so maybe that was a sign that I needed to get away for a few days. But was able to go down there, watch a lot of tape, work on some mechanic stuff that I wanted to address, and continue to make sure I'm getting better out throughout the season and maintaining. And then I was able to come back Friday. I spent pretty much all day Saturday doing things around my apartment, making sure I had, when you get in a hectic schedule like this, you put a lot of stuff off to the bye week. So I was making sure I got all that stuff done. I was able to watch a lot of college football, and then Sunday we were in here getting ready for Northwestern. So it was a good, productive bye week. It went by quick, but I feel like I used it well and made the most of it.